Hi Virgo, welcome and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. We are talking about June, which is crazy. I hope that May has treated you well, is treating you well. I'm not sure when I'm going to be posting these videos. We're running a little late. Happy Pride Month. Absolutely. Let me see. Okay. Sorry about that. So, yep, absolutely. Happy Pride Month. And if you haven't done so already, I started a new series of messages by Human Design Profile. Very excited about those. If you know your profile, you can head over to the corresponding video. If you don't, you can either just Google Human Design Chart, or I put a link to get your chart in every one of those videos. So you can get your chart and then head over to the appropriate video. I went by profile because reading about my profile in Human Design literally blew my mind. And it was the thing that got me obsessed with Human Design. Go on. I mean, there are definitely more and just as important aspects to Human Design. I just chose that one thing. So check that out if it feels good for you. And here we are going to talk about your messages for June. Also a quick plug, a link to my Etsy store is in the description below also. And there is a code for a discount that is just for folks coming from YouTube. And thank you so much in advance for that. So, what is the message for Virgo for June? We're not going to be working with a specific spread. I know last month we did a 9-card spread. Unfortunately, I can't fit 9 cards into the frame here, but we're going to do 6. It's just 2 rows of 3. What is the message for Virgo for June? I just started, like my upper lip just started sweating. Like, are you nervous? The big stuff kind of coming up. Clearly, we had the Ace of Cups and the 9 of Cups flip out. Okay, here we go. Four of Cups or the 4 of Emotions. 7 of Emotions or the 7 of Cups. 5 of Voices or the 5 of Swords. 3 of Materials. Muse of Emotions. 2 of Materials. And then 7 of Inspiration at the bottom of the deck. Alrighty, I just wanted to make sure everything was in frame and stuff. So we'll just go through every card like we do. And we start with the 4 of Cups or the 4 of Emotions in this deck. And I was just staring at the card. There's a few things coming through. Generally, the 4 of Cups talks about it can be disappointment, like, you know, maybe just not quite living up to what you expected. So we have these 3 cups here. And, you know, this figure is like, I don't really either want what's in those 3 cups, or I'm not excited about what's in those 3 cups, or not feeling fulfilled by those 3 cups. And it's interesting, we have these 2 faces here that are making, you know, kind of the rest of this cup. And then this little starburst in the middle, there could be other people around you or maybe, you know, you got into partnership, and partnership can literally be anything from romantic, platonic, business. And maybe that's not quite filling your cup like you thought it would. But also, you know, I kind of see this little part here, like it just feels like you're trying to catch your breath. Or even like trying to pull in some meaning. Like, have you seen the, is it the last Harry Potter movie or no? I should know the name of it. And of course now I can't think of it. Escape from Azkaban maybe? But you know, like when Sirius is on that lake and there's that Dementor that's, you know, like sucking his soul out, and there was that last little bead of energy. And then, you know, here comes Harry with his expecto patronum. And, you know, like he clears out the Dementors, and then, you know, basically like, you know, Sirius's soul goes back into his body, right? Like that's what that looks like to me. But then we have the Three of Pentacles underneath that. And the Three of Pentacles talks about collaboration, working with other people. So again, like that's kind of why I'm like, you know, maybe the partnerships that you're in are just kind of not meeting the baseline. This could also be that, you know, like if you are trying to do way too much on your own, then, you know, it would be an invitation to call in some help, or even just delegating, like let other people take some things off of your plate. But it is also interesting that there's, you know, 3 people here. There's 3 cups there. Interesting. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we spend our time. What are we going to do? It could also be our physical health. You know, there could be some sort of disappointing news that you have gotten, or maybe, you know, the steps that you have been taking are maybe not, maybe not paying off as quickly as you would like. And then we have the 7 of emotions here, or the 7 of cups, and that talks about options. It also talks about having too much on your plate. So again, you know, if you are just kind of in this state of exhaustion, and, you know, like you just don't even have the energy really to even have a positive outlook, because it's kind of like, how am I even going to get out of this? Like she's kind of, you know, we have this cup here that she's kind of sitting in. So it's like, how am I even going to get out of this cup, or this kind of everyday thing? But, you know, it talks about choosing like one thing. You know, there's all of these kind of different options. And, you know, I mean, it's weighing the pros and cons. It's also, you know, emotions have to do, or cups have to do clearly with our emotions. So it's, kind of deciding how do you feel about these things. And I always think about like Marie Kondo, and, you know, if it feels good, it can stay. If it doesn't feel good, it's got to go. So that could even be, you know, like clearing off your plate, like actually getting rid of these 3 cups. Like if they're not fulfilling, if they're not full even, like if they're not even doing what they're supposed to be doing, it's, you know, it's got to go. And same with this, you know, this kind of situation needs a bit of an overhaul here. Like if it is relationship, you know, whether that's a romantic relationship and, you know, somebody's not carrying their load in the relationship, that's got to be addressed. If it's a business relationship and, you know, like you feel like you're buried in your work, or they just keep adding shit without adding money onto your paycheck, right? Like this kind of feels like setting boundaries. And then we have the King of Cups, or the Muse of Emotions here. And the King is the highest expression of the suit, right? So very clear in their emotions. Not only do they know how they're feeling about shit, they're also able to express that. There's a major intuitive thing that comes along with the cups in general, but when you get to the King of Cups, you know, I mean, like that is kind of being in tune with that kind of intuition, empathic energy, psychic energy even, right? I mean, it's all kind of intertwined in there. But, you know, I mean, it's also drinking out of, you know, we have this mirrored figure here, but they found a cup to drink out of, right? Like no longer is there disappointment in these 3 cups. There's also, you know, like this flow of water. So, you know, it's like finding the thing that you are most interested in, that you feel the best about. Even, again, going back to that Marie Kondo philosophy of getting rid of what no longer serves. And then the 5 of Voices, which is the 5 of Swords. And generally, the 5 of Swords talks about, you know, swords have to do with our thoughts, our intellect, how we perceive our realities. It's a lot of our ego, because, you know, that's where we hear our ego generally, is in our minds. And usually the 5 of Swords talks about, I always kind of see it as being a battle of wits. It can be a bit competitive, almost like combative too, you know, because not only are you thinking things, but you're expressing those thoughts to people, right? So it can be a bit sharp. It can be a bit, like I said, confrontational. However, in this 5 of Swords, there's this olive branch that's being offered here. There's these people meditating down here. So this has a different feel to it. This to me feels like that whole, you know, there's that saying that goes, change your mind, change your life. Because, you know, the 4 of Swords talks about literally, you know, like starting to heal, because, you know, the 3 of Swords kind of heavy. 3 of Swords talks about rejection, disappointment, heartbreak, right? And how that lives in our minds, how we perceive those emotions. And then the 4 of Swords is generally when we give ourselves that time to relax and heal, and, you know, kind of, it's like a grieving period almost. And, you know, with this 5 of Swords, it almost just kind of feels like that co-creation thing, like changing the way that you perceive things, like almost releasing attachment there's this truce or this like surrender thing happening with that olive branch, right? So, I mean, there could be some sort of surrender kind of going on here. There could be just, you know, a perception change on your side. Like maybe you're just kind of looking at the situation a little bit different. Or, you know, if you are kind of starting to set boundaries, if you're starting to decide about the things that do make you feel best and that you do want to spend your time and energy on, then that could be like freeing up some space for you to like expand your thoughts, expand your knowledge. Because then after the 6 of voices comes, or excuse me, after the 5 of voices comes the 6 of voices, or the 6 of swords, and that talks about moving on. It's coming out of choppy water, going to more peaceful water, right? So there could be something that you're even resolving in this situation. Like maybe there is some sort of mental conflict. And if there has been a battle of wits where, you know, like you've just been kind of having to play a lot of mental gymnastics in this situation, this could be saying that that's coming to an end. Or there's at least maybe an end in sight, or there may even be a solution. And then we have the 2 of materials here, or the 2 of pentacles, and that talks about finding balance. It could be work-life balance. It could be financial balance, you know, like I love how this Muse of Emotions is kind of bridging these 2 cards together. I also love that, you know, this black and white kind of squiggly is almost kind of the same as what's going through the 3 of materials. So again, it's almost like kind of connecting. And how, you know, the water energy is either flowing out of or to this King of Emotions here. And it's like flowing into both cards, right? So now there's this, you know, you would be the Muse of Emotions in the middle here with your firm boundaries, knowing what makes you feel good, knowing what doesn't, being able to express those. It's emotional maturity, being in tune with that, with your star player, right? Like really listening to your intuition. And how that's, you know, just kind of bridging the collaboration and teamwork and everybody working towards the same common goal, and they're now being balanced here. I keep getting this feeling of having more time for yourself with this card. And then we have the 7 of Inspiration, or the 7 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. And the 7 of Wands talks about standing your ground and being a bit defensive. But it's standing up for what you believe in. Because generally with the 7 of Wands, there's a figure in the middle with their wand, and they're in a bit of a defensive stance, right? They're like, And then there's 6 wands around them that almost kind of look like they're trying to penetrate, or, you know, like trying to penetrate the space, right? Like trying to battle the person in the middle. And I always see those as, like, I see that as being other people's opinions, other people's fears, other people's projections on shit. And you're standing in the middle like, I didn't even ask for this unsolicited advice. I didn't ask for your opinion. I don't want your doubts and your fears to be projected on me. I can do enough of that myself, right? Like this is something that I truly believe in. And even this one, right? Like you can just, it looks like she's kind of holding this veil open. This also, you know, is the bottom 3 chakras. The root, sacral, and solar plexus. So there could be some sort of work going on with that even, or maybe even a focus, which is also, you know, kind of prevalent through all of these as well. You know, blue is the throat. We've got some heart right here with this olive branch, which makes sense. Even this, you know, these little rays of light coming in. You know, that could be the crown chakra, downloads coming in even. And again, like just kind of connecting to that, your intuition. Beautiful. Moving through this. I love this. I think this is great. And I am going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.